Let's open our first file, securing the borders. Let's start with the geography of the new order. On November 17th, the United Nations Security Council passed a resolution 2803. They are calling it the Comprehensive Plan. The headline is Peace. The headline is International Stabilization Force, the ISF. The mandate is demilitarization. The ISF isn't there to observe with binoculars. They are there to enforce with tech. They are tasked at dismantling tunnel networks using seismic sensors and securing the crossings with biometric scanners. But look at the map closely. Israel has established something called the yellow line. This is not just a marker on the GPS. It is fortified buffer zone bisecting Gaza, separating the north from the south. It is a chaotic landscape of sand berms, elevated firing positions, and autonomous sensor arrays. It is the shield wall from Dune. And just like in Dune, the shield wall has a weakness. The shield wall protects against the storm, the kinetic storm of mortars and men. But it cannot protect against the treachery from within. It cannot stop the slow blade that penetrates the shield. While the diplomats were shaking hands in New York, Iranian intelligence was busy playing games, literally. On December 2nd, researchers at ESET discovered a new campaign by Muddy Water. Muddy Water is not your typical criminal gang looking for a ransom payout. They are a threat actor aligned with Iran's Ministry of Intelligence and Security. They aren't targeting the soldiers standing on the yellow line. That's the old war. They are targeting the logistics of the peace force. They are hitting engineering firms in Egypt. They are targeting utilities in Israel. They are going after the shipping manifestos and the power grid schematics. Why? Because a stabilization force needs power. It needs water. It needs reliable ports to offload supplies. If you can disrupt the logistics chain in Cairo, the troops in Gaza starve. If the lights go out in the control room, the sensors on the border go blind. But let's look at the kill chain. Let's look at the elegance of the code they are using. Muddy Water deployed a new loader named Fooder, and inside this loader they hid a secret. To evade our security scanners, they didn't use complex encryption or zero-day exploits. They embedded the logic of the classic video game Snake. You know the game. You move the pixelated snake, you eat the dot, you grow, and you wait. In the code, they used sleep API calls and a custom delay function inspired by the game's mechanics. Now, ask yourself, why would a state-sponsored hacker program a Nokia-era game into their military-grade malware? It is not fun. It is for survival. It addresses the sandbox problem. Modern security defenses, the firewalls protecting these engineering firms, use sandboxes. When a new file arrives via email, the sandbox intercepts it. It opens the firewall in a safe, isolated room and watches it. It says, okay file, do your worst. I'm watching. But the sandbox is impatient. It has millions of files to scan. It can only watch for a few seconds, maybe 10, maybe 20. If the file does nothing malicious in those first few seconds, the sandbox marks it safe and releases it into the real network. Muddy Water knows this. They know the guard is impatient. So Fooder plays snake. It loops. It calculates. It coordinates. It pauses. It waits. It stalls the execution with useless, benign calculations. It bores the sandbox. The sandbox watches the file playing a game of snake and thinks this is just a game. It's harmless logic. No malware here. The sandbox times out. It stamps the passport, and then once the guard looks away, only after the game is over does it load the payload. Muddy Viper. This is a fireless backdoor written in C++. It doesn't touch the hard drive. It lives purely in system's volatile memory. If you unplug the server, it vanishes. But here is the technical detail that proves this is an evolution in tradecraft. Muddy Viper uses the Windows CNG API, the cryptography next generation API. This is rare. Most Iranian threat actors use older standard execution libraries that security controls and tools flag immediately. By switching to CNG, they are blending in. They are using the exact same cryptographic calls that Windows uses for its own secure communications. They are wearing the uniform of the operating system. They are using our own architecture against us. This is living off the land, taken to the extreme. This is the gamification of sabotage. Iran is sending a message. You can draw lines on a map. You can pass United Nations resolutions. But if we control the power grid in Cairo and the water systems in Tel Aviv, if we can walk past your billion-dollar firewalls by playing a game of snake, then your stabilization force is walking into a trap. The border is not the yellow line in Gaza. The border is the memory space of the Egyptian Port Authority. And right now, the border is wide open.